Hello everybody, we are Bastián Araneda, Valentina Guzman, and Magdalena Zambrano, and today we're going to expose our findings on intelligibility versus nativeness in the process of teaching English. These principles create the most common and debatable discussions related to oral interactions in second languages or foreign languages. So, we will delve in its significance in order to answer a particularly relevant question. What is most important when you're having a conversation being a non-native speaker? Intelligibility or nativeness? Do you want to be just understandable, or do you prefer to sound the most native-like?
To begin, we need to define intelligibility and nativeness. On one hand, and according to Cambridge Dictionary, intelligibility of speech and writing refers to the quality of being able to understand and recognize words, expressions, and its meanings in given context. It goes hand by hand with comprehensibility. On the other hand, nativeness answers to the quality of belonging or being connected with a certain place or region by virtue of birth or origin. In the field of languages, it refers to speaking the language of your place of birth and acquiring in strong norms of that specific language that are not necessarily correct, which are difficult to achieve for non-native speakers.
The nativeness principle holds that it is both possible and desirable to achieve native-like pronunciation in a foreign language. It was the dominant paradigm in pronunciation teaching before the 1960s, but its influence was rapidly diminished by research, showing that nativeness in pronunciation appeared to be biologically conditioned to occur before adulthood. Nowadays, the emphasis of pronunciation pedagogy on nativeness and specific norms has shifted to intelligibility in relation to comprehensibility, where the spotlight is in the speaker's intended output being understood by a listener.
In this sense, with the focus on English as a lingua franca, English users in its own terms, instead of conforming to established norms of English, adapt their way of using English to cope with international communication in various contexts, which means that non-native English speakers acquire their own norms and structures to communicate and to be understandable with each other. When a non-native English speaker is initiating a conversation, the grammatical structure of the sentences that is reproducing are interfered by their first language, which can commonly lead to mispronunciation and even the creation of new words in order to convey an idea.
For example, if a native Spanish speaker wants to say voy a correr in English, they could possibly transfer that into I go run, which grammatically speaking is not correct, but the concept or essence of what they want to deliver is completely understandable. As stated by Munro and Darwin, influentially conceptualized intelligibility in relation to comprehensibility and distinctiveness as a basis of pronunciation pedagogy. They operationalize intelligibility as the extent to which the speaker's intended utterance is actually understood by a listener. In the following video, we can appreciate the difference between the way in which Ellen DeGeneres pronounces the word cotton and Sofia Vergara saying the same word.
What's two? Is that cotton? What is the second year?
I don't know what you're
I think it's cotton.
Cotton what?
Anything cotton.
Can you notice the difference? Is there any change on the meaning of the word?
Moving on, one of the main situations that we have to acknowledge when it comes to teaching a second language is the principal goal of the students in terms of pronunciation. Inside the different educational establishments, the students may have individual and diverse aims in the acquisition of a language. That is why, as Walker stated, if a native speaker accent is an undesirable goal for our students, it is a wholly unrealistic objective for the vast majority of learners. To exemplify this idea, Wang and Jenkins highlighted Halliday's perspective that language includes a range of possibilities, an open-ended set of options in behavior, which are available to the individual in his existence as a social man. In other words, the setting validates the specific selection that the speaker makes in communicational terms.
In this regard, the absolute direction in teaching native-like pronunciation is problematic given its restriction on language users' choices of linguistic forms, that is, only correct forms, which conforms to native English norms. Even so, for native speakers themselves, the proper pronunciation of words can seem sometimes problematic. They make mistakes, request help from others, and try to replace the words with other that fulfills the same function in terms of meaning, with the intention of keeping a fluent conversation and getting their ideas across in the way they expect. Now, in the following video, we can observe the racing driver Lando Norris having a little bit of trouble pronouncing a word, but being understood by the reporter anyways.
Give that a couple of years. McLaren and Renault guys.
Yes. From our I couldn't say that word earlier. Statistics. How do I say it?
Statistics.
You just say it for me.
Stati-
On our
Statistics.
Just
say data.
on our data. Yeah. So I want to sound more professional, you know.
So, why condemned intelligibility in non-native speakers when even natives make communicational mistakes?
To sum up, in EFL or context where English is a lingua franca, expecting teachers and students to aim for a nativeness pronunciation of the language is an unrealistic burden model, and is not even necessary when the focus should be on the ability of communication. Some linguists question the assumption that native English is the ideal choice for intellectual communication, and make a vigorous argument that native English is irrelevant for ELF interactions.
And rather than making nativeness a goal for pronunciation instruction, we should apply the intelligibility principle in lingua franca context, and consider that English belongs to all those who use it. Besides, we should respect instead of criticize the phenomenon that non-native English speakers are both changing and making English their own. With all the above being said, should we ask our students for intelligibility or nativeness? What should we expect from non-native English teachers in terms of pronunciation? You can give us an answer in the comments down below. Take care, wash your hands, and keep social distance. See you next time. Bye!